everybody pays estate and death taxes. No, that's not the case. Frankly, for the majority of people, at least in the state of Washington and the state of Idaho, I can't speak for any other state. So if you're watching this from a state that has an inheritance tax or different estate tax laws, I'm sorry, I'm only focusing in on Washington and Idaho. So if your estate is going to be burdened or subject to an estate tax, well, congratulations. That means you had a good amount of money. In Washington, our estate tax credit exclusion amount right now is $2.193 million. So if you're a single person and you have $4 million and you either don't have a will or your will just says, I want it to go to my 2 kids equally, yes, your estate will be paying an estate tax to the state of Washington. If you live in Idaho, same situation, you're single, you've got $4 million, you want it to go to your 2 kids, guess what? Idaho does not have an estate tax, estate tax. So there will be no tax imposed on your kids inheriting from you that $4 million, $2 million, and $2 million for each kid. So why do so many people think that there is an estate tax burden for, the 99%? There isn't, at least not in Washington and Idaho. Now in Washington, as we all know, property values have been going up recently. And, the house that used to be worth, I don't know, 300 is worth 900 or something. So, people are looking at their estate being valued at a higher level than it surprises them. So there are a lot of good tools that we have to make sure that the state of Washington gets nothing. We'll talk about those in a moment. But one thing I do want to back up a little bit, I've been talking about state estate taxes. There is a federal estate tax too. So I said Idaho doesn't have a state tax. No, but the federal law applies. Washington has an estate tax and federal tax law applies. So what's the federal tax level right now? In 2022, it is $12.06 million. So if your estate is worth more than $12.06 million, talk to an estate planning attorney with tax expertise to see what you can do to avoid that federal tax. Let me go back to Washington. Let's say you had a $4 million estate and you want your money to go to the 2 kids, you want it to go outright, they don't even need asset protection. Well, what can you do? Well, if you keep it within your estate until you die, Washington is going to get some of it. If you instead have met with an estate planning lawyer and they say, you know what, you've got about $2 million too much. Did you know you can do a lifetime gift to your kids? You've got $2 million too much. Why don't you give $1 million to this kid now and $1 million to the other kid now? And by doing so, you have reduced your estate level down, so it's under the taxable estate amount. Your kids get that money, and there's no tax imposed on that receipt of that money. So you can do lifetime gifting in the state of Washington to reduce your estate down below the estate tax level of Washington state. Now you might be saying, I thought I can only give away 10 million or 10,000 a year or 15,000. What you're thinking of is the annual exclusion gifting level, which is 16,000 right now, and it goes up, but right now it's 16,000. So you can give $16,000 away to unlimited number of people and not even mention it to the IRS. But if you give away more than that, if you give away 1 million to this child and another million to that child, you have to tell the IRS you did so. Is there a gift tax imposed? No, there's not. But you have to mention it because it counts against your 12.06 million credit exclusion that the federal government gives you. But This lifetime inter vivos gifting is a way to reduce your estate tax if you live in Washington. Now, there's reasons not to do that, a lot of reasons. There's a lot other planning options, like you can create an irrevocable trust, and then the children get the trust or get the money in a trust so that it's protected. There's all sorts of other planning strategies, and I'm not going to complicate it too much today. But what I want you to know is that there are strategies and there are ways to avoid an estate tax. And rarely is an estate tax imposed at the federal level, or I don't know how rare at the state level, but for the majority of people, estate taxes can be avoided. So if your estate is less than $2 million, or if you're married, we have all sorts of other planning options. You're not going to be paying an estate tax to the state of Washington. If it's above $2 million, do talk to your estate planning lawyer, because there's a lot of strategies to avoid paying any estate tax to the state of Washington.